We're going to take a look at writing an equation of a circle now, and if you haven't seen the previous video on, let's see what it's called, sketching a circle, I think, or graphing a circle, 1.3e, then I would recommend that you watch that first, but we're going to go ahead and build on that. It says to write the standard equation for the circle with the center at -3, 2, and passing through 1, 5. Now, what in the world does that mean, passing through? It just means that 1, 5 is a point on the circumference of the circle. In other words, a circle is made up of a center and then all the points equidistant from the center, right? And so all you have is a center and a point on the perimeter. So here we go. The first thing that we're going to need to know is, what is our goal? What is our goal here? What's an equation of a circle? Well, the equation of a circle we went over last time in the last video. It looks like this. The standard form of a circle, equation of a circle, looks like this. Equals r squared. Okay? Now, let's just remind ourselves what everything is. This right here, this hk, we pull that out, and that becomes the center. We'll pull that out. That becomes a center. The r, when we take the square root of it, right, that becomes the radius. So this is the radius. The square root of the r squared is the radius. So we actually do not need anything for these two positions here. The x and the y are going to stay x and y. Now that's important. Remember, we don't need anything for the x and the y in the final answer, in our goal. Our goal is to find things for the yellow and the blue only. The yellow and the blue only. X and y will just look like x and y in our goal, in our final answer for the equation of the circle. Here we go. So let's look at the two things that we need. So our goal is that. Then I need, what do I need? I need, it looks like, the center, and I need the radius. I need the center of the circle, and I need the radius. So those are the two things I need. What do I have those? Well, I do have the center. There it is right there. So I have the center. Do I have the radius? Heavens no. I don't have the radius. So the very first thing I need to go find is the radius. Well, if you watched the last video, we already know how the radius connects or relates to the rest of the information. So let's go ahead and write the formula here. We have r squared is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Now, if I want to get the radius, remember that's my goal here. I want to get the radius. So I'm going to square root both sides. And here's how I get the radius. I put information in to this right here. It's the distance formula. Again, the distance formula. Okay? So let's go ahead and continue by putting in the information. Now, in this step, we are going to insert values for x and y. We have to, because remember, we're looking for the r. So that has to be the only variable that is still a variable. So let's go ahead and take a look at our original information. They have to give us the center, and they have to give us a point. Oh, they did. Well, that's handy. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and label these. Label these two things. This is going to be my h. Excuse me, I wrote k. I wrote x. This is going to be my h. This is my k. Right? That's the center. And this is going to be my plain old x and y. Now I'm ready to dump in the information. Here we go. Square root of, now what's the x? 1. What's my h? -3. Notice I'm using extra parentheses to put the -3 into the formula. All right? And that's all squared. Now, what is my y? Looks like it's a 5. Minus, what's my k? 2. Okay, now you notice this. R is the variable. That means I need to not have any other variables showing. I don't have any other variables. So in this step, this is multi-step question that they're having us do. In this step, we don't have any variables on the right side. Here we go. So 1 plus 3, that's a 4 squared. That's going to be a 16. 5 minus 2 is 3 squared is a 9. Nice and neat little answer here. They don't always end up that way, but this time they are. It is. Okay, so my r, what's the square root of 25? And by the way, this is the principal root, right? The radical was already there, so they don't want plus or minus. They want the positive, non-negative version. So the radius is 5. Good. So now we're going to come back up here and go, hey, I have both of the things I need. I have the center and the radius. Now let's put them in the goal right here. The goal, I needed the yellow and the blue stuff, right? Now the green stuff up there is going to stay it's going to stay letters, right? Variables. So here we go. X minus, now we need what? H. What's my H? Well, that was the center. We already know that. Oops. Let me go back up here. I've got negative 3. Okay, that's that squared. Plus y minus, what was that one? A 2 squared. And that's equal to what? The radius squared, which is 5 squared. So this is the information right here we're going to dump into the formula there. So we dumped information into here, here, and here, just like we said. Now let's go ahead and clean it up, and we're finished. Do we need to go ahead and FOIL those two things? No, we want it in this form. This is the equation of a circle in standard form, right? With center, what? Negative 3, 2. Now notice this doesn't have the negative, and so I know that a negative 3 was put in there. So negative 3, and then 2, and then the radius of 5. All right, thanks for watching.